Hello and welcome. I'm Mercy, the Game Master here at HereThereBeMonsters, and we're back with another Working Wednesday stream. I've gone ahead and left the spoiler warning / context clue warning up in case you are not up to date on the Battle of Capstone sessions, and that's something that you want to check out on your own. In general, we're still going to be trying to keep spoilers either away completely or at least to a minimum, but there will probably be some things that you could infer just from what we'll be talking about today if you are not up to date. Speaking of which, if you're not up to date, I'm going to go ahead and throw some links in the chat really fast. But the Battle of Capstone has concluded for a good or for ill. And the last session of that can be found right here. Also, if you're going to be watching with chat on, of course, make sure you have live chat on because top chat is garbage. And if you're not going to be working on D&D stuff, but you're going to clean a room in your house or do whatever else you need to do, good luck on your projects, and thanks for joining me. Format of the show is we've got 30 minutes on the clock, but then we'll take a short 3 to 5 minute break, and then we'll come back, put another 30 on the clock, and then try and get out of here. We want to try and stay fairly focused with a fairly narrow scope to get done some things that we need for our game, and then move on to whatever our next project for the day is outside of the stream. So for today, right, sorry, and then one other bit of news. Next week there will probably not be a Working Wednesday stream. I guess we'll see.
YouTube stream is now live.
Thank you, Lumia. Because this Friday, so 2 days from now, just over 48 hours from now, Friday, September 6th at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we are starting a subathon on Twitch. If you're not familiar with subathons, it is a fun marathon stream type event where there is a clock that is always counting down, and then certain things happen during the event that add more time to the clock, and then we go until the clock runs out. In the spring we went for 152 hours and it was an absolute blast. Not every event obviously is going to break records. This one may or may not be that long, but it's going to be fun no matter what. We're going to be doing some of our favorite things, some new things. There'll be challenges. There's a grand prize giveaway that can be up to $100 depending on how long the event is. And it's going to be a really good time. So mark your calendars, swing by twitch.tv/HereThereBeMonsters if you've not had a chance to do so yet. And let's get into it. Hey, T-Bomb. Oh, the mic probably didn't pick it up, but that was a glorious neck pop. So let's see, which thing do I want to focus on first? There's about 5 things that I want to address today. There were 6, but I did one of them already. Sorry, I'm reading through those notes really fast. Okay. Also a little ADHD with Discord. All right. One question, I think this will be more of we'll be mulling it over while we fiddle with some other things here today, but is what has happened to the thing that Braun had? I think there are 2 main outcomes there, and we need to debate it a little bit. I've been very ambivalent about what I want to do with that going forward. In the meantime, while I'm kind of mulling that over, let me get my old files open here. And that's weird. YouTube says that there's currently no audio bitrate. Can you hear me? Sometimes YouTube is just weird, which is what I'm assuming is happening. But I guess we'll find out in a minute. Hello, Shalendor. Good to see you. Okay. I'm going to assume that means that folks can indeed hear me. Hi, Lily. How you doing? Hope you got some more sleep last night. You know, something that I never actually really did was write down how much I was paying. Okay. Thank you, Lily. How much I was paying the player characters when they were completing things. I have a reasonably good, well, I had a good sense of it, which is why I didn't write it down, but that was a while ago. Okay. This is not what I was looking for, but that's something else I'm going to want later. What was I doing? Oh my god. My attention has been absolutely wild recently. Payment. So there should be a folder called, there we go, party folder. Original party. Oh, not in there apparently. Oh god, what did I do with that? Ahoy hoy. Character info? Character coinage. Of course. That was something that I came up with and then we never really implemented. Okay. How else could I track this down? Session notes, probably. Okay, session 8 notes. Oh no, I just wrote party collected on quests, writs, etc. Rip. Okay, go back further, I suppose. I'm gonna have to go back really far because they were out and about for a while before that they were collecting on. I also need to get an inventory from them of what potions and things they still have. Make sure that I have that up to date. 4 Session 3. No. Actually, that makes sense. They would still be out because they were out. That adventure started after the prologue. I need to get into prologue notes. Did I even keep those? Okay, good. Thank God. I did. There is the Knight's Oath. Kind of fun. Not what I was looking for, but okay. I had to go all the way back to session 9 of the prologue. So that's 17 sessions back is the last time I had notes of what we were paying them. Not that it's been that long since we paid them, although admittedly they haven't gotten paid a ton recently. But they the last couple of times I did not write down the details. So here's what we need to weigh. Obviously, the recent undertaking has been significant. Also, this is a relatively low money, low power, low magic world. So how are we going to interface those two things? Ugh. Without just like completely throwing off the economy. Especially considering something else that I don't even want to mention on the working stream because it's too much of a spoiler. In general, I like the idea, especially for our setting, that things in the world tend to be like lots of payment tends to come in form of reward and barter versus actual cash. Because that makes sense, right? Especially for our setting where the military doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of money and whatnot. It's easier for them to give you a sword and a shield and some armor than it is for them to give you 250 gold. Or, whatever that would come out to. I think it helps with verisimilitude, and it also helps keep the power curve reasonable. Session 16, and this will be Aftermath. Might as well get our notes sheet set up for the next session here. I'm definitely going to need to write an intro for that one. Between the fact that there's going to be a little bit longer between the sessions and also because there's going to be a lot to sum up. That we can get out of the way. That we can get out of the way. Battle Aftermath. Probably want to keep all of this. Notes on breaking items are probably not as imminently related right now. We don't need that right now or that. Okay. And then how long is it going to rain? like about 5 a.m. All right. So what we were doing before was for just kind of like normal 1 to 2 session quests, because we were giving 25 gold per person. Hi, Kale. Hello, Vincent. How are you? Broadly speaking, I've been thinking the rewards of actual cash, because like I said, there will probably be some in-kind rewards as well. So of actual cash, I'm thinking maybe, and we'll narrow down on this in a minute, but I'm thinking in the neighborhood of a couple hundred gold per person. That's enough for somebody to be able to get themselves something pretty nice, right? You could get a horse or a nice saddle or some armor, or maybe try to barter your way up to a masterwork weapon or something like that. So then let's see, how does that compare to how we were paying before? Before we were doing essentially 25 gold per episode or so. Let's say we were doing 25 gold per person per episode and a half. And, we'll say that there was 6 episodes for the battle. It was actually 7, but just for easier math. Because 6 is divisible by 1.5 4 times. So that would be 100 gold each. That seems low, because I think there needs to be like hazard pay, essentially. Like I said, around 200 is like kind of what feels good at first blush, but let's look a little bit at the costs of items and see what kind of in the neighborhood of 150 to 300 each. Like, what does that actually mean? What does that do? Hello, Orar. Rarar. Bahir would like new not plate chest armor and perhaps swimming fins. Swim fins would be fantastic for to put in our, remember our like gnomish tinkered contraptions that we were working on? Like, it's probably the better part of a year ago. All right. Take a bonus to the party as a whole and make them. I really like doing that sort of thing. So, like I said, that's a good idea though, because I probably should do it that way. Oh, that goes really well with the other thing that I'm specifically not mentioning. Because, like I said, that there will be a couple of rewards that are not specifically cash. And then there will be the actual cash. And that's one of the reasons why the cash is going to be still fairly low, right? Like being like, oh, you know what, even if it's 200 per person, right? With now 5 people in the party, that would be 1,000 gold, which like is a lot, but also really isn't that much to help save a town. But like I said, there's for one, I want it to make sense in the world, and for two, there will be other things. So, first things first, we have the Arms and Equipment Guide. Technically a 3.0 book, not a 3.5 book. I was always bummed that they never updated this. But it's still, especially as far as pricing goes, the economy doesn't really change from 3.0 to 3.5. So, long straw. Right. Yeah, thank you, T-Bomb. That combined with the thing that I'm kind of holding in my back pocket, I think will work really well together. I will need to note that here in a minute. All right, so while there may or may not, so yeah, hold that thought, Vincent. Good question, but hold that thought. How are we doing? Okay, we got 9 minutes left. What is? It's gonna be a weapon property. What is mercurial? Like I know that word, but okay, the description's cool. So what's the difference? Like a long sword is a D8, right? A medium sized, a human sized long sword is a D8 of damage. So the only difference here is so they call this a mercurial longsword. It deals also 1d8 damage, but it has no crit range. However, its crit damage is 4x. Kind of fun. Most people probably wouldn't take that trade, but kind of interesting. Anyway, so weapons and stuff in here, we range anywhere from like 5 to 500 platinum for the exotic stuff, but if we ignore the exotics, it's like between 5 and 75 platinum. More exotic weapons. Okay. What about armor and stuff? No crit range. No, it can, but it's just only on a 20, whereas the normal longsword is, what, 19 to 20? Maybe even 18 to 20? No, 19 to 20. Rapier's the one that's 18 to 20. Mercurial's being subject. Well, I mean, mercurial is like with Mercury, right? And often means kind of like evasive. It depends a bit on the context. Like she, the rogue was mercurial. But in this context, it means literally mercury. The sword has flowing mercury in it that changes the like balance essentially. Armors and stuff here, we're looking between 5 and 150. Armor materials, although that would probably be outside the range of what they'd be getting right now. Okay. Player's handbook a little bit. You feel like Bridget, if she's the one giving you the reward, kind of knows how you fight, so I feel like she wouldn't kind of know actually. Well, yeah, it's so. This isn't particularly spoilery, but oh, excuse me. There may potentially essentially be a like kind of a hand wavy sort of thing. You know, like you can pick any one thing out of the armory, or something like that. We've done that sort of things on a slightly lesser scale before, and I think that makes sense. And then that way we're not getting into like, why does Bridget know that you whatever, always wanted a sigh? Imagine Alan prize. What do you mean? / what are you thinking? Because Bridget knows all. She's just the DM insert character. Okay. Then when we get into the 3-5 stuff, Most simple weapons are really just a couple of gold, with a few getting up into the 50s. Martial weapons are a bit more, but they range like 5 to 25 for one-handeds, and like 10 to 75 for two-handeds. Ranged weapons are a bit more. Exotic weapons tend to be more like 50 to 100 with a few exceptions. I'm so sad about this. And it makes sense that this would have happened. But the only page of any of my D&D books, that didn't work well, that I've ever damaged myself is there's a rip on the it's in the items section on the weapons page, so obviously it's a page that's been used lots. I should probably tape it up so it doesn't get worse. Magic weapons. Right, sorry, I meant a little bit more what makes you think that Alendite specifically should or should not have a special reward. I'm not challenging you that he shouldn't. I'm just curious to hear as a viewer what that process looks like for you. Armor, assuming that we're not talking about full plate, because full plate's like a whole freaking thing. We're cheap armors are 5 to 100, medium armors are 15 to 200, heavy armors are 200 to, well, 1500 if you're counting the full plate. So if we went with 250, 250 would be enough to get banded mail if somebody wanted that. Great swords. Okay, so the more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm thinking about what T-Bomb said. Maybe there's no individual cash prizes, with one exception. Which still isn't exactly a cash prize. Maybe there's no individual remuneration, but the group gets money. Because initially I was thinking like half and half. So, you know, like let's say we were going to award 1,000 gold to the group, that we'd give 100 to each player and then 500 to the group. That becomes kind of weird in world, right? Like, why would they do it that way? Like, they would either pay I think they would either pay like a bounty to each participant and you get all of it, or they would pay your like squad. And I think since we're talking about doing item you know, like things like choose an item sort of deal, and like I said, there are some other stuff that I'm intentionally playing close to the chest, but if we're thinking about doing something, you know, like a choose an item from the armory sort of deal, that would be probably their individual prize, and then there just would be a party prize. T-Bomb, item purchases, do you get to choose the items and their prices? Do you mean me, the game master? Like, do I choose that, or do the players choose that? Also, a lot of coin for the garrison to give out in the aftermath of the repairs. Yeah, exactly. Me? Yeah, so I mean, really, I can do anything I want. Is what it boils down to. But there, you know, there's guidance. So like in the player's handbook, For instance, there's a whole section on common weapons, common armors, basic adventuring gear, and whatnot. Hold on, Kale. I'm working on it. And they give prices and whatnot for all that. There's any number of reasons that you might customize any of that, but also it's kind of a guide, right? Because, like, you know, they may not necessarily have, like, say, a scimitar in here. Now they do, but like, if they didn't have a scimitar, but they did have a longsword, then I, the GM, might look at that and go, oh, a longsword would be 25 gold, but I feel like a scimitar is more exotic. So if you want a scimitar, then I would charge you 35 for that, or, you know, something like that. So yeah, we have free reign there, but I do lean pretty heavily on the guidance in the books because they've spent a lot of time designing and balancing you know, things. Oh, the heck? Cool. My monitors just flickered. That was neat. The pier, the gate, the roofs. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's why, like I said, I'm thinking more in-kind type rewards. At least for the majority of it. You thought make the most sought after item a certain price so that someone would have to give up their entire share of the bounty if somebody wanted to purchase it. Kind of hard to do with a large group. Yeah, so I think you're exactly right. We did not quite that, but we kind of flirted with that with the breastplate that Rocket's character's been wearing. Where I don't remember exactly how they decided to do it, but essentially our party's been kind of like splitting the gold that they get. So some of it goes to a party pot and some of it's individual discretionary spending. And Bahir ended up convincing the party to spend most of their money to buy him a breastplate that he now hates, which is hilarious. Okay, so I wanted to follow that line of thought through. It could be credit with the quartermaster or a straight cash type of thing again, like last time. True, although I think it's a little bit more interesting to do, you know, like any like item of normal quality, you know, from the quartermaster / armory. And then that way we're not necessarily putting a dollar amount on it. Because I feel like one of the things that you potentially run into, right, if you say, okay, everybody has 100 gold to spend with the quartermaster or whatever, is you feel like you have to optimize that. But, like, what if your character only wants knives? You know? I mean, I guess you could just get like 100, but it feels kind of, you know, so I think it's, I think from a design perspective, we facilitate more in character decision making and role play by being a little bit less specific with the reward. True, Kale. But my point stands. So, okay. And then we'll go to break after this. Here's my thoughts. Like, because I'm just trying to think. The most expensive, you know, like non-specialty item that they might take would be 250, which would be that, or, you know, something that roughly their equivalent would be that banded mail. And most people probably won't take anything that expensive. Most people will probably take stuff that's like 100 or so, which would be about, you know, which would take up about 500. And then if we were thinking about paying out about 250 per person, then that would be, you know, like 1,000 or a little bit more to the whole group. So I think what I'm thinking is we do an item of normal quality, plus 500 to the group. And then that gives enough money to where if they wanted to, you know, like let's say they did decide that they wanted full plate for somebody, they could like, you know, which is 1,200, I think it was. They could all be like, all right, we're all gonna forgo, like none of us are gonna get an item, and we're gonna spend all of our cash, and we're gonna try and, you know, barter with the quartermaster or whatever to like get Alan Dye to suit a full plate. Like they could probably accomplish that, or everybody could get an item, and like 2 people could get masterwork items, or they like 500's enough to potentially try and get a minor magical trinket, which is one of the reasons why magic items is listed in my to-do list down there. Is I want to have a list of some minor magic items available just in case that they do want to do that. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay. Payout. And then I myself will have a number that I, you know, that I'll kind of cap like what I would call like a normal item to be available in the armory. But like I said, I think I think we can mechanically facilitate a little bit better in character role playing by not putting a number in world. All right. That took longer to kind of like think my way through than I realized, or than I had anticipated, but I think it's fine. How strict are we with survival while traveling rations? Pretty strict, actually. I think it's important because, for one, it gives an opportunity to add value to the rest of the world, right? Like, oh, we're gonna go look for a deer to kill. Oh, that's a perfect opportunity for me to sprinkle in some little ancient ruins or like that sort of thing. And for 2, it can create some really interesting, actually like dire situations. Like my party at my table game that originally played in Rin got caught in a blizzard one time and almost ran out of rations. Which, you know, made for like a really like dramatic situation. Okay, I'm gonna kick one thing out of our to-do list. I think the other 3 we can finish when we get back. How are we doing on time? 39 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, let's take a 5-minute stretch and potty break. We'll be back, and then we need to write an oath, which will be fun. We need to decide about the thing that I was debating about earlier. What happened to Bronze Thing? And then we get to fiddle around with some minor magical items. That's what's on the to-do list. So in the meantime, if you haven't been up in a little while, stretch your legs, get some water, etc. I'll be back in about 5. Also, Rocket, did you not end up D&Ding? Or is that after this? I forget what time that is for you. I feel like that would have been at 3. Anyway, yeah, I'll be back in a few. And thank you again, T-Bomb. That urging on using party gold, I think, is gonna make for a more interesting, like, scene and interpersonal roleplay. Sorry, side quest. Had to find some ibuprofen. Having some inflammation in my knees. Had old person knees since I was like 15, so that is what it is. Okay. Right. Hello, Amras. Let's do your oath writing. No, I'm not going to say what it's for. You gotta watch the episodes for that. All right, I'm looking through my chat GPT conversations really quickly to see if I can revive a necro thread here or if I need to start a new one. Oh, snap. There it is. Exactly. Not really, T-Bomb. I'm sorry to hear that. Is if there's anything that you want to talk about here, obviously I'm happy to do that. Or if there's anything you don't want to talk about here, but you want to talk about privately, I'm happy to lend an ear to you once I get off the air here. Well, I mean that's your time on the line, so I totally get it. I'm sorry that's happening. Okay. Initial prompt to chat GPT for some suggestions. Let's see what we got. I guess I should I should reread the part that I pasted in first for context. that was really good. Okay. So let's see what suggestions we get for the new one. Hmm. It's a little bit too, well, okay, never mind. I wanted this. I wanted it to be similar to the original. This is so interesting. So I gave it an example and I said, help me write something that's like this, but different in these ways. And it gave me a new suggestion. And then it said, this mirrors the tone. So it answered the prompt and did what I asked it to do. And then it gave an explanation at the end. And it said, this mirrors the tone and structure of your example while incorporating the new themes that you requested. And then it also, oh wow, okay, it's been a little while since I've used ChatGPT. Then it also gives some suggested follow-up questions like, can you refine it and include more about blank? Workflows chunks, watching the job that you want to do while doing the job that you loathe despite with all of your being, I'm assuming. They're excavating lots all around you, which is extremely unusual. Which is usually done by the time that you come in. I don't know if I have anything meaningful to say beyond I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that you're feeling that frustration. Ooh, that's such a good line. Okay. I think we can work with this. As always, taking longer than I had intended, but... Yeah, exactly, T-Bomb. I hope so, Amras. And I hope soon, or if not soon, I hope for, strength to carry on in the meantime. Will Ava get a small promotion? As always, you ask good questions. I do have plans for Ava. I think I want to share that in session. No, you're good. You're good. I'm happy to answer the questions that I can and to deflect the ones that, that I can't. No need to apologize or pull back or anything. You two, thanks, guys. It's been rough and it won't be easy. The certification classes, college, the businesses you're looking for is 8 weeks, somewhere north of 10K. Whew. I mean, it's one of those things where you can probably see the throughput of that investment in the long run, but that does not change the sticker price. Not to mention the probably additional price of unpaid time to actually take the classes. So if the sticker price is 10K, I mean, I have no idea what you might make in a week, but let's say it's, I don't know, $1,500. I have no idea what like that kind of work pays in Canada or anything, but that'd be another like what 12K in lost wages. So actually makes the cost of the class like north of 20K. Any tips for player engagements they won't just pass through a town en route to a goal? I think for one, be descriptive. So talk about the atmosphere, talk about the people or the lack thereof, talk about have NPCs approach them. Don't just wait for them to approach NPCs. Have something dramatic happen near them so that they can choose to react to it. Canadian rubles. Oh man. Are there ever situations where a company in your industry pays for training? I mean, I realize probably not, especially with the training being that expensive, but I know sometimes for some jobs you can get part or all of training paid for. Okay. What am I trying to get from this? I think this is a good start. I think as always, you never want to just use something straight up from ChatGPT, but it's an inspiration. But I'm feeling like there's something that's missing. What do I feel like is missing from this? Well, right, but also everything costs more, right, T-Bomb? Okay. Let's go. Let's do the rewrite, and then maybe what we're missing after that will jump out to me once the rewrite's done. And honestly, I'll probably kick off the other thing. I think this is probably going to take most of the rest of the time. No, I know T-Bone. Sorry, I guess it was probably did not add anything to the conversation by saying that. I just kind of reacted. Larger number. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Okay, what did I call this? I'll catch up on that here in just a second. Renaming something. You know what I should do? Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Here. These don't need to be separate documents. This can just be called that. Then we'll go here. And we'll put a heading. This is that one is that, and that one is that. Okay. In a perfect world, well, on unemployment, you could get the better job, relocation benefit, and an apprenticeship, and then immediately get hired by a business who will take up your payments. The likelihood of that is more so kind of you farting rainbows. I mean, obviously nothing works out in the ideal way, but I mean, is there any reality kind of between the lines there, so to speak? I need an umlaut, but I can never remember the alt code for it. Oh god, too many tabs. I blame ORR. You're looking at Seattle. Wait, are you actually looking at relocating? Reality would be to go on EI. I'm assuming that's employment insurance, to do the course and hope that it will cover the weeks that he's at school, and then hopefully get a job as soon as he's done. I mean, that's still obviously I don't know your finances, but like that's still a potentially actionable course at least. Hey, reading squirrel. Yeah, I'll probably be a little bit over today. Pay for the course out of pocket. Well, I don't know. I mean, if you're actually thinking about it, obviously, we can do whatever we can to offer any support or answer any questions or whatever. But if it's more of an abstraction, I would guess I would just respond to that I think there's a fair amount of instability in a lot of places right now, financially especially. I do this. Probably traipsing a little bit too closely to getting into politics and whatnot. I think we can talk about economics and our personal struggles and whatnot one way, but I think that's flirting with crossing the border, if you'll excuse the pun. I do blah to blah. This kind of thing's hard to edit on stream because I want to read it out loud, but I shouldn't. I know no harm is intended, but I'm gonna go ahead and delete that message too. It's again, we're probably getting a little bit heavier and a little bit more off the beaten path toward politics and ideology and whatnot than I would rather do here. Oh, here we go. I have the solution. Stand and is the party going north or are they going to go their separate ways? We have not had a chance to meet about that yet. Separate ways by Journey is a good tune. I'm not familiar with that title at least. I might recognize the song potentially. Well, I think so. T-Bomb, two things. One is what I was actually taking issue with is you specifically is you getting into who, or at least the strong implication of who you think is going to win the upcoming presidential election, which is like definitely politics. And two, like even just getting into a statement that you as far as you are aware is a statement of fact about national policy. What's policy? Like policy is part of politics. Like what do we not really do? Talk about politics. So it's that would cause the party to go the band Journey does good. Oh no, I know who Journey is and I know some of their songs. I just don't know if I know the song by that name. What would cause the party to go for longer? Oh, it'd be in town for a week or 8. I mean, the next session will be at least largely around town. They need more potatoes. That's true. Yeah, sure. And again, to expand just a little bit more on kind of my point about the politics is I don't personally care who any person thinks may or may not win the election or whatever jokes they may or may not want to tell about that or whatever. And I don't necessarily care what anybody's like stance is on the border or immigration or whatever. The fact of the matter is that like getting into it is beyond the purview of what we usually get into. The joke only works if one assumes that outcome. That doesn't make it an endorsement. Okay, but that's still like kind of like a parallelism to my point, which is that it's still like making the subject political. Like it's a political joke, but it's still making the subject political. So then, like, where is the conversation supposed to go from there, other than more politics? I had never heard of Bluey until like within the last year. Is that like I actually don't know. Is Bluey new or was it just new to me? Because like one of my nephews is 10 and one of my nephews is 5. So maybe the older one was just old enough to miss it. – 2018. Okay, so it probably just barely missed my older nephew. New to me. Comes from a land down under. Speaking of song references. They acquired distribution rights a couple years ago, so now it's available on Disney Plus. Oh, interesting. Okay. It's exactly why you guys started. Gotcha. We're coming up on my deadline. I have made some progress, but this has been harder to write than I expected. So relatable. Aspen is Bluey and Holden is Bingo. And Bingo was his name-o? Okay. I think we're. This was definitely a trust the process kind of thing. You like the kids now understand when you tell them you need 20 minutes? Oh, interesting. So is that kind of thing like I don't know how to word it, but essentially like giving your parents space, is that addressed there? Holden is a neat freak. He thrives off of predictability and structure. Aspen is a free spirit. Oh, I never would have guessed on Aspen. Always teach kids things and how they understand it. If you were a Bluey character, you'd be Jack. I just don't know any of the references, I'm afraid. We should watch it tonight. But I'm behind on Rings of Power. Blue is good and educational. Yeah, hold that thought. Rocket, sorry. This is so frustrating because I feel like I'm close, but I just cannot get this oath where I want it. Hello, Anololo. Some market is a good show, some market is a parenting show, and some market is a good show for the mind. I guess we're ending soon. Yes, I'm trying to get myself to an acceptable stopping point here. Eventually, this may be a thing where fresh eyes need to finish it, but in Valve time, right? No, I'm not muted. I'm just talking under my breath. You paused? Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's both kind of cool and kind of annoying on YouTube. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put fresh eyes on this later. When is the group meeting if we picked a date? I'm actually delegating to Pixie tonight to shoot some messages out and try and help organize that so I can stay focused on the last few things I need to get done before setting up for the subathon. Name. I'm just going to show up with the bells. What? Reading your employee manual earlier, a violation that was previously first offense probation, second offense suspension, third offense termination with review. Now first offense suspension, second offense termination without review. Holy crap. Yeah, that's quite the escalation is the word that I wanted. Ah, this is so annoying. Cannot I cannot put my finger on what I don't like about what I've written. Okay, I solved one of my issues. Oh, okay. I think I may have solved one of those problems. Finally, a breakthrough. Right as I was about to pull the plug. We're over time, but so be it. I want to read it because I'm feeling pretty good about where we finally gotten here. We won't say anything. Yeah, but it's more of a spoiler than just the words. I guess there's like an implication as far as who's being affected by this and why. I think it just takes too much away. Nike. Yeah. Yeah, I think I get you, Squirrel. Okay. I think I've got a no, it's hanging out downtown for 3 months. Well, the crew rebuilds the town into a mega city. Oh, I'm so sorry. There was Kale, are you still here? I was so focused on trying to get this fixed, I forgot to circle back to the Rings of Power thing. Okay, let me actually read this to myself. So okay, cool. Oh boy. Got a copy paste there. Okay. Okay. That is to a workable state. There are still some tweaks that I want to make to it, but I finally don't hate it. Speech writing's hard. That was like a 45-minute thing that I definitely thought was going to be like 15. Okay, Rings of Power. So we've not started season 2 yet. Season 1, admittedly, I watched a while ago now, so I'm hazy, but I enjoyed season 1. I was not personally upset by most of the things that people were upset by in season 1. I think it's worth a watch. I think it has some weaknesses for sure. I think there is a high degree of variance in the quality of the dialogue writing and whatnot. Some of it is fantastic, some of it is drivel. But overall, what we get is a thoughtful adaptation with some interesting additions that takes place in the Second Age. And the Second Age is, I believe, the least defined age in Tolkien's works. And it's one of the funny things because I'm not a purist, and a lot of people later reading Squirrel, thank you, I appreciate you. A lot of people that are Tolkien purists who were arguing against the show, I think, missed something, which is that the Second Age is not very clearly defined in Tolkien's work. And in fact, there's something that he wrote, and I forget exactly where this is, but where he said, like, almost word for word, he said something along the lines of, like, you know, and I leave this open to like leave room for the hands of others or something like that. And so uh, he very explicitly stated that he intended for other people to help fill in some of the blanks. And so I think I think that's honoring what he said he wanted. Also lots of limitations. Yes. Yes, and a lot of people didn't understand that, and I think that's a messaging problem from Amazon. They needed to be clearer because I think a lot of people expected stuff from the Silmarillion, and they don't have rights to the Silmarillion. The rights to the Silmarillion have never been sold, and when they do, there's going to be so much Tolkien content, everybody's probably going to end up hating it like Marvel and Star Wars. So we'll see. But I thought that what they did in general with season 1 was on the whole good. It was a high budget production that tried to make conscientious sacrifices and work within the bounds of what they had to tell an audiovisual story that extrapolated some of what yes, there are things like time compression because the Second Age is like 4,000 years long. How long do we want the show to be? So, yeah, you know, so there are some criticisms of it that I think are valid. I think a lot of the criticisms were not valid. As far as season 2 goes, so moving on there, it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar sale. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. As far as season 2 goes, like I said, I have not watched any of it yet, so I cannot speak to that. But from what I have heard from people that I know Tolkien, there's a lot more of the same. There were some things that they kind of listened to the fans, if you will, or listened to the critics or whatever on, where they tightened up some stuff that people complained about in season 1. Overall, what I've heard is that season 2 brings in a lot more things that people were hoping to see, and I'm hopeful. Like I said, I thought season 1 was pretty decent, and not amazing, but pretty decent, and I'm glad that it exists. I think that it is a high effort, high production value show, and it's more Tolkien, and I love Tolkien. So, is it imperfect? Yes, but I am glad that Rings of Power exists, and so I'm hopeful for season 2. I think there's 3 episodes of season 2 out right now, or maybe 4 at this point. Because I think they released like 2 or 3 to start with, and then they're going weekly after that. So I don't know exactly where we are, but Disney can't wait. My God. They're you know, the meme with the licking the lips and the rubbing the hands. You also got into watching Chaos on Netflix, and you think it's pretty good. I don't know anything about that. I don't know that name. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the content warning. I figure by the time we get to our next working stream, that'll probably be close to a month since the end of the battle, and we can only keep warning about spoilers for so long. I'm assuming that you didn't end up D&Ding, Kale. I might potentially be down to hang out or play a little bit of something after this. I'm not sure entirely what Pixie's schedule is, but I can hit you up when I get done. This was kind of a weird stream. Not way over time. Not although somehow also not nearly as productive within that amount of time. I guess sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. I'm still glad to sit down to do something else that's not subathon related for a little bit and to wrap up some ideas and get some things written down for the D&D campaign. But yeah, I didn't feel like I was communicating myself well on or off topic today. So thank you for being here. And I'm sorry that the variance today was a little on the high side. It's like modern times. If the gods were real and we are following the events leading up to a prophecy that brings about the downfall of Zeus, and Zeus is played by Jeff Goldblum. What in the world? There's a lot packed into just a few sentences there. Okay. There's one more note I need to make for myself in my session notes, and then we're out of here. Okay. Cool. Well, like I said, thank you all for being here. Today was kind of all over the place, and like I said, not quite what I was hoping to accomplish or deliver. But we did still get some stuff done. I'm glad you had some fun, Lily. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you everybody else for being here. Keep an eye out if you are one of our D&D players. Hopefully there'll be some pings from either Pixie or maybe Rocket here within the next day or two, trying to get things organized for what we're going to do next for our behind-the-scenes meetings that we were talking about. And our next stream of the week, yeah, is going to be the start of the subathon. I always leave you a cliffhanger as part of that speech. Well, like I said, it's sort of a speech. It's an oath. Is there anything that I could say? Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Is there anything that I could say that doesn't just give it away? Paladins. Yeah, I think I'm too scattered right now to give a good teaser. Over your dead body. Hey, thank you for being here also, T-Bomb. I'm sorry, that was not one of the more graceful ways that I've managed a redirection. So I appreciate your patience and, you know, hanging out and supporting anyway. And and contributing to the conversation. I legitimately really value your suggestion, especially as far as what to do with the loot. I think that's a way better solution than what we were going to do. So thank you. Maybe it'll hint at the person accepting the oath to make their own speech. Well, they're not accepting an oath. They are making an oath. Yeah. There will be a set piece wherein a person will be making an oath. And so I think if I were to read any of it, it would spoil who that is and why, what oath they're making and why. So yeah, that's why I'm being so coy with it. You should be becoming a paladin, a muscle paladin. Rubato. Gonna make an oath not to make zombies? Yeah, right. But maybe. But maybe. All right. All right. I'm out of here. Thank you guys. Appreciate you being here. If I don't see you in a voice hangout or whatever in the meantime, then we'll see you at the event. If you are somebody who is pledged to potentially help with setup for the event, I'm going to be contacting anybody for any last minute help probably tomorrow afternoon or evening. So I have not forgotten you. I know lots of people have offered help in various ways at various times. This was kind of awkward timing with my birthday. I don't know. Like, obviously it was supposed to be an event for my birthday, but like also it made it kind of weird, especially with the holiday weekend also being my birthday weekend. Yeah, I don't know. If you got a sec, can you make a VOD on how to add time? You forgot how to do that. I will try to remember to do that, yes. My birthday is also your anniversary. Wait, Sunday was your anniversary? Well, happy anniversary. I hope you guys had a good weekend. You do solemnly swear not to make things, not do things after they may or may not have expired, maybe. Well, that's awesome, you guys. How many years? And I'm really going. 12. Awesome. Well, congratulations, you two. I hope you got to do something fun. Heck yeah. Well, there's a better note to end on. How about that? Thank you guys. I'll see you soon. As always, take care and be excellent to each other.